Welcome everyone, I'm Zell, and today we're looking at the Knife Company Wisp. Alright, so this is the Wisp. And this, guys, of the three knives that we came out with, this is my personal favorite. And even in this color, I like this raw TI stonewash and our carbon fiber inlay. So let's get into it. First off, let's get a good look at it. As you can see, it is set up for tip-up right-hand carry. I said right-hand, didn't I? I am so wrong. So wrong. That's left-hand carry, guys. Tip-up left-hand carry. Now, is it only left-hand carry? Well, heck no, we wouldn't do you like that. We've got the holes drilled for right-hand carry. So, you can, and it does come set up for right-hand carry, by the way. But tip up left or right hand carry. As we get a look through the knife, we have some very nice carbon fiber inlay. That carbon fiber, what we has done this time is the carbon fiber is a little proud all the way around the knife. And they have softened those edges a bit to make them feel nice, look nice, and that's just a beautiful thing. I like how they've done that. And we've got titanium torque screws as always. We got a standard wee pivot, got the pivot collar and the blue torque screw down in there. And man, it's just a good looking knife. And we do have a lock bar insert. This carbon fiber is not your lock bar stop. It's not your over travel stop. And it's, that carbon fiber, though, guys, there's a bunch of people that were upset with one of the recent knives that we did, the Zephyr, maybe. It had carbon fiber inserts in it, and they were like, oh my god, they could have milled out on the inside. Well, if you go back to, and I don't remember which knife it is, it's probably this one, the What's Inside video. That carbon fiber, if I can get the light on it right there, that carbon fiber is very thick. They're using that carbon fiber. The cutouts there is a lightning mechanism. And, you know, the knife only weighs 2.79 ounces, so I don't think it's a heavyweight. You know, that's down in delicate territory, and we've got a 3.2-inch blade, so we're right there at delicate territory in every respect. So let's get into some measurements. We've been gawking over it a bit. It's 4.18 inches in closed length, a handle thickness of 0.54, and a closed height of 1.1, so nice and thin in that spine-to-spine measurement. Knife spine, handle spine. A overall open length of 7.37, a blade length of 3.2 inches on this one, and an edge length of 2.86. We have 0.1 millimeter blade stock. That's 2.55 or 2.1 inch blade stock, 2.55 millimeter, and a weight, like I said, of 2.79 ounces, grip length of 3.5 inches, and we are, of course, S35VN on this. And before we get into the blade, let's talk about that. People are going to fuss, I can already hear them now, about S35VN being in this knife and not M390 or 20CV or long list of super premium steels. I personally would like to have M390 in these smaller knives. However, I think we is making a good choice by putting S35VN in these knives. And here's why. M390 is not a steel that you want to be sharpening with standard flat stones. It's not something that you want to be working with even a sharp maker or a turn box, because it's just obstinate about sharpening. And it's not the worst. S110V, I think, is probably the worst of the steels that I've sharpened, but it ranks way up there. S35VN can be sharpened with flat stones. It can be sharpened with a turn box. It can be sharpened with a Spyderco sharp maker, and it gets you like 80% of the edge retention and everything that M390 does. So I think that was a good trade-off to make this knife more appealing to those that don't want to spend all that money on sharpening systems. And here I am blathering on. Let's do some size comparison. What do you say? We have, of course, if I can find them all, we've got a Rat Model 1. And it's a little too big for the screen here because we're sit down for small knives. And we have a Buck 110. Same thing. It's really just, it almost fits. And we need to find a Delica, don't we? Yes, we do. Right here is a Delica. And our Delica is right there. I mean, we're talking very, very close. Now, I want to bring up an interesting point because people are going to talk about money. They're going to fuss about money. To get a Delica in S30V, not S35VN, to get a Delica in S30V, you're dropping a little over $100. We're still, and this one is fancy. It's got the Zome handle on it, and it's been fancied up by Knives Plus. And fancied up by me as well. So we're looking at a little over $100 right here. And this one's $244.50. What do you gain? Titanium inserts, titanium hardware, titanium handle scales, nicer blade finish. I know this is a custom finish, but we're talking standards here. Nicer blade finish, and it's actually a nicer blade finish than this anyhow. Lots of nicer stuff done on the knife, and does that add up to another $144.50? Well, you'll have to make that decision. I think personally that it does because this is my favorite of these small knives. And we've done our size comparisons. Let's go ahead and get the pause and read card out of the way, then we'll talk about the blade. Alright, so let's get a look at this blade. As we said, it's a slice of S35VN. You can get it in a black blade with the satin flats, or you can get it all satin like this is. We've got a belt finish that's been polished again. You guys know I like those. I'm not as excited about this one as some of the ones we've looked at in the past. It's still very, very nice, but it's... I forget what we looked at here recently that was just, oh my god, that's beautiful. But it's still very nice, and I love how he does the satin flats. So you end up with a two-tone blade, very nice. S35VN, 3.2 inches long, and look at our edge termination, very well done. And that's one of the things that I haven't talked about much, except on the podcast stuff. But so far, since early this year, I haven't been having to sharpen knives as much. And I'll grab a piece of paper and show you what I mean, I hope. As I have used this knife quite a bit. But the knife companies are really figuring out finally how to sharpen knives. Used to, and not even a year ago, a new knife would come in from almost any company. Now we's been fairly decent, and a few other companies have. Spyderco's always been good. But most companies, a knife would show up, I'd go to cut something with it, and I'd be like, disappointed. Well, that's pretty crappy, and then I would put it in line to get sharpened. And then it would take longer to do the review. But this is what we're getting out of on these super thin little blades. And that is just impressive. And by the way, the ZT-0393 that I picked up here recently, it was super sharp too, so the companies are figuring it out. Now, let's talk about the hollow grind, because I know we're going to hear the hollow grind complaints. I already talked about that with the Vapor. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but it is hollow ground, and it's a beautiful, beautiful hollow ground. I just love what they've done there. They've swedged it. And, of course, we got our three little marks for the wee stuff. And we've got some not terribly sharp jimping. I really like that jimping. And we've got a carbon fiber backspacer back here that's also got some not terribly sharp jimping, but enough to be mostly effective. And speaking of jimping, there's some there too. There is one jimp on that tab. The way they've shaped that tab, the jump right there kind of sticks out, and it can be a little rough. Look at my hands, guys. you can't use me as a gauge because dang near nothing bothers my hands on standard jimping. But Stazza23 pointed that out, and whenever I paid more attention, he's right. It's just a wee bit pointy right there. Will it bother you? Probably not, but it is there. So, blade-wise, just absolutely beautiful. Edge termination is beautiful. We'll try to get them behind the edge measurement. These measurements are ridiculously hard to get and be accurate with, but I think that's about where we're at. Anyhow, we're less than 20 thousandths, and the beautiful thing about this hollow grind is it's not going to get wider for quite a while as you sharpen it, as you move up the blade sharpening it. Should stay nice and thin for quite a while. Makes it a great slicer, and just I just really like the blades. I'm going to get a little silly there. I like that they're thin. I like that they cut well. And let's talk about what's inside the knife. We have, ceramic ball bearings, stainless hardened backing washers. We have a lock bar insert that's hardened stainless, and all titanium hardware. We'll get the T8 out here and we'll look at that. Get the Weehaw sticking up. There we go. There's your Weehaw sticking up. Very nice. Weehaw sticking up there. Also very nice. So screws are great. Action on this little guy. Whenever it first showed up, it was a bit stiff. But since then, for a knife with that thin a blade stock and a hollow grind, it is super smooth. I just really, really like the little action on this guy. Is it got a fidget factor? It's probably got a fidget factor of 7 or so. Because the blade's so light, it doesn't have that guillotine-y fall shut, but it's still very nice. And let's get this guy in the pocket, and then we'll move along. And I apologize, guys. I do not have a left pocket up here, so we're going to have to look at it in a right-hand pocket, but that's no big deal. We're just looking at what we get. Lanyard hole sticking above the pocket. Not a whole lot of knife sticking above the pocket, and nothing terribly pointy, so we're in good shape. Now, one thing I do want to see, because I don't remember this one giving me any problems. I want to see what happens whenever I run my hand down the backside of it. And that's one of the beauties of having that jimping not be terribly sharp right here. Guide your hand in good. Let's see. I didn't really get it deep enough to find out what the... Nope, not a problem. You see, you've got this shape right here. Your hand follows this and goes pretty much right over that flipper tab. So that's a beautiful thing. Fits in the pocket, looks good. And now, we already talked about the action. Let's talk about ergonomics. And guys, that's probably why this is my favorite of these small knives. The ergonomics on this guy, I mean, you can look at it and you can tell me, you already know. Whenever I put my hand around this guy, either way, it is good to go, ready to go, ready to just take care of business. And, forward finger choil might be just a smidge small, but I've been using it and I haven't cut myself, and see, there you go. It's not really that small. I like it a lot. I mean, you can get a hold of it, whatever, and you're pretty much good to go. I like the ergos on it a lot. That's probably why this is my favorite of the knives. Because no, it doesn't have the flashy looks of the Vapor or the really tall blade of the Rectifier, which we'll get the other two out. And why not just get a look at them all together real quick. There's your Vapor. And there's your Rectifier. And like I said, this one's my favorite. This one is the showboat of the group. And this one is probably your workhorse. Beautiful knives from We Knife Company. And apparently I've got the Rectifier set up for left-hand carry as well. And there you go, guys. The Wisp is definitely one of my favorites. And that's where we're going to cut this. It's a great knife. I've really enjoyed carrying it, and I hope I continue to get the opportunity to carry one of these in my left-hand pocket because it just fits. It's nice and thin, got that nice thin spine-to-spine measurement, got that really nice drop point blade profile, just a beautiful, hard-working, light, medium-duty knife. And you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. And be sure to watch the Apex News every week on Wednesday. And I will see you next time.